are you having connection issues? Seeming like maybe you are. Erwan, cool. Hi,
Hey, what's up?
thanks for joining us. Yeah, I think Ember seems to be having issues. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We got some people I have not seen before. We're in our call today. Uncle Ed, good to see a bad kid in the audience. Okay, we're gonna give Ember a second to rejoin so that they hopefully can fix their connection issue. Hello, Hamad, OTS, Jay Kearns, Abby, Chris. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and everyone from the PL team as well. Hey, Amber. Is that working?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Cool.
Thanks, sis.
Yeah, let's give it another minute. We can see if some other people are going to join us today.
That's very disheartening. I've been working on getting the relaying going between this and X.
So it
Some
goes.
audio
Is it currently on X? No, it's not working. Okay. Well, we'll try to get it going next week. A good chance to let everyone know we are trying to also mirror this on X so that people can view it in several contexts rather than just only being in here. But yes, okay, so giving ourselves another minute or so. Hope everyone's doing well. Crazy week. Lots of big changes in the industry and things brought to the surface. Kind of nuts, right?
Mhm.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and get started. It's good to have everyone in attendance today. So we have a couple things that we can discuss today. One of which is like very exciting, and the other which I think is already out in the open, and we are excited to sort of like talk about some more. So the first one, Ember, if you'd be willing, like I'd love to have you speak about it a little bit if you're willing. But we do have the grants program going on. We just announced the we meaning like the Penumbra ecosystem. The Institute for Applied Numismatics has earmarked about 50,000 USD worth of so in the form of tokens to the development of software and ecosystem benefit programming for Penumbra as an ecosystem. So what this means is that there people can apply to these grants, and it will be to there will be a selection process, and after the selection process is through, a certain number of projects will be selected to receive the necessary infusion for them to do the work. So maybe you can speak on that a little bit more, Ember, about what does this program look like? I know you had some you helped out a little bit with the design of the program, so I'm curious if you could share some information about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a microgrants program because we have lots of projects that we have ideas for and that there's some community energy behind. And so we want to make them happen. It's a pretty quick turnaround on a project. So about 2 months, $10,000 equivalent in USD. Right. And in order to get a project out, and since we have everyone here as well, we could talk a little bit about what the priorities are for the RFPs, because that was solicited across Penumbra ecosystem, Radiant Commons, Ian, and Penumbra Labs. So let's see what we have going on. So The first three are on Penumbra Labs' end. Aaron, sorry to put you on the spot, but are you able to talk about a little bit more about Prox Wallet tax reporting integration tool, the token factory, and MCP server development for Penumbra? It's okay if you're not.
I don't have the grant headlines in front of me, so I'll have to pull them up. But um,
Link
so
in the chat.
like in the moment, I guess like I'll just so there's the MCP, there's the token factory, there's a series of projects. I think the one personally I'm most excited about is the token factory because that lets the chain gain the capability of doing asset issuance on mainnet and any other instantiation of the software. That means people can just like, you know, create whatever tokens they want and or real world assets or issue tokenized cigarettes. The spectrum of application is pretty large. I need to pull up the rest of the grant, so if you want to fill in,
It-
I
oh,
can pull up
they're in the
like in 2 minutes.
I want to point out that that was an idea that came from Henry talking to folks at DevCon and then brought it forward into the forum. There was chatter there and definitely interest, and now we're turning that idea into a grant. So this is like a really direct channel between like feedback to implementation to getting money in the community to make it happen. Sorry, Park, you look like you were going to say something.
No, I was
Um,
just letting Erwan know that you had posted the link in the chat.
yeah, link in chat.
Mhm.
And then Radiant Commons had a couple of RFPs as well. We had a request for educational resources and marketing and community building campaigns, which are things we're just kind of always looking for and excited to make happen. Educational resources, we talk a lot about getting work done on the docs, really just onboarding people in a way that gets them excited about Penumbra, which
Mhm.
needs them to understand what's going on. And then marketing and community building, getting the word out. Anything else you wanted to say about our by which I mean Radiant Commons's RFPs?
Yeah, I mean, I also want to emphasize like there's open RFP, right? So these are suggestions. If there are really amazing like ideas that come out from the community of people who read through those grants and want to contribute something to a private ecosystem, you can apply on the open RFP track. There's no, it doesn't need like you don't need to fulfill these. These are more like ideas that have been offered. And with this in mind, like if you have a really great idea and the proposal is accepted, which right now the closure date is the 31st, then it will be reviewed and it may get turned around to get funded. So you know, it's kind of a situation where like there's a lot of like available tooling and ideas, and if someone has like a really phenomenal approach that they want to take that doesn't fall within the issued RFPs, like the open RFP is just like to show that like this is a flexible permissionless environment, and you might be able to come up with something that we didn't even, like the ecosystem doesn't even realize it needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, I think there's an idea of implementing um, storage pruning for full nodes. So, the current Penumbra protocol, you have a version, Merkle tree that is represented in different ways, and one of those ways is that you have nodes serialized to a database, and right now we keep the entire history of each of those nodes at different versions. And so sort of low hanging fruit is building a tool that shift through the database and prune those nodes that have version that is ancestral to some uh, watermark version. So basically like prune the older versions of the tree nodes so that the storage footprint of a full node diminishes. Now I have like the list of proposal paged in. One that's really cool is for tax reporting software. and taking advantage of some of the unique aspects of the protocol with respect to selective disclosure and inventorizing what is your tax liability over like your entire transaction history. Another one is for standardized interface. MCP, there's a prototype by Bimorphism in the microgrant announcement. But I think it's pretty freeform in terms of if you have a good idea and have the capabilities to execute on it with some support. You should suggest things that you personally find interesting. Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
please do. Applications are due 31st of January, which is weekend a day or two from now, depending on where you are.
Mhm.
So please apply. If you have any questions, submit a support ticket and it'll get to the right person. And yeah, it shouldn't be too onerous of an application, shouldn't be too hard. It's basically like, what's your idea? What problem isn't solving? How are you going to spend the grant? But if you have any problems with it, also let me.
Something I'm also very excited about that we just found out about that we there's no like crafted announcement around this that I'm aware of, Ember, because we just kind of found out we can do this. But in speaking with Penumbra Labs, there is a like the version of the Dex Explorer known as Veil is now accessible for testing from everyone who interacts with it. So please, if you go to dex.penumbra.zone, that alpha build of the of the trading interface is available for everyone to start offering feedback on. There is if you are in the beta program, this is a good place for you to start discussing it and offering feedback about what this next version could look like, so that people can interact with so people can take that feedback and hopefully create a better, an even better Explorer interface for the future. Yeah, so I mean,
What it looks like.
yeah. Erwan, I don't know if you're speaking, but you are currently muted.
Yeah, I was speaking. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So what I was saying, as you guessed, is I can show you like what the Explorer looks like as of right now, the cutting edge of development. So it's been shared before, but there's some nice progress and polishing that happened. So this is the main page where you can perform various user actions, so buy, sell, limit orders, and range liquidity, crucially. We added an execution stream for market trades, so you can see the recent history on the pair, and couple this with the different sort of like data cues that you have about the state of the market. So the red book, the candles, and also, of course, the swapping form, so you can fill out, so to speak, the liquidity that's available. You can put limit orders. So, for example, you can say this is fake, but you can say buy when price is 0.6, and then plan the transaction. And because it's below like the current clearing price, it will like show up and not fill immediately. So it will show up in my positions. This is currently building and showing up here. Of course, you can always inspect. Apparently not. Oh, cool. This is about. Oh no, okay, you can. Well, okay, you can't apparently. Maybe there's a gap between indexing the position and submitting it and inspecting it. But this is in the idealized flow. Like you can simply like go inspect the global state of the chain, global public state of the chain, and inspect any position you want. as well as closing them. So here it's been closed. We're closing it before it has ever been filled. So it still has 0.6 USDC in it. And once it gets closed, the position rendering updates and you can withdraw it. This mechanism will come in handy later. Okay. Another cool feature is range liquidity. So you can provision a certain amount of inventory, choose price bound. So for example, say like 5 USDC and say, oh, I want to provide liquidity between 140 and I don't know, like 0.10. With a feature of 10 bips, so 0.1%. So on each execution, the position will capture 0.1% of the trading flow that transits through it. We're going to open those positions and wait for them to be posted on chain. So this all links back to what is going to appear on the order book, on the red book. Cool. And now you can see those positions on chain and quoting at the various prices that the strategy here bakes in. And then close them all at once if you so wish. So a ton of ground conquered, and there's a few things to polish and features to add, etc. But I'm pretty happy about the velocity of how fast things are improving.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it as well. It's good to see that you all put a ton of work into it, and I'm excited to see how it continues to develop. Henry, you're up here. How's it going?
Yeah, just wanted to add on kind of some of the reasons that this is really fundamentally exciting. One of the big challenges that we've had with Penumbra, the protocol overall, is while we were building out the front ends, we were building around this idea of, okay, this is a decentralized protocol. It needs to be actually decentralized. And so we need to make sure that there's this whole that there's like this whole kind of decentralized ecosystem of front ends. And so we built the first front end as this like totally decentralized, static site, runs entirely on your own computer, et cetera, et cetera. But the downside of that is that it makes it really hard to do onboarding, because as a user, if all of the data of the front end is being served locally, that's kind of maximally decentralized. But it's also the case that then if you aren't already using the system, you can't see anything because you haven't done anything yet. So this interface is kind of the second generation of Penumbra front ends, and it indexes all the public data about the DEX on the chain, and makes that accessible and blends it together with the user's private data from their own local computer. And I think it's really cool to see the combination of the kind of public parts of the chain state, as well as the private sort of per user data that is local. So as a kind of an example of this, right? Let me just see if I can share my screen. Right, so I was using the range liquidity feature that Erwan mentioned, which allows people to do passive LPing, they can set their own fee tiers, etc. And when I go to one of these positions, like let's say this one, this data about this position is public, but what people can see when they go and look at it is just like, oh, this position was created, and I can see the this position just made it, so it hasn't been executed against, but it's possible to kind of see where all the order flow is coming from. So as an LP, you can monitor your activity. And I'm very excited about the kind of future design for being able to see sort of all of your assets that are in and outside of Penumbra, kind of all in one view. So the place that we're trying to get to with this is basically breaking down the barrier between not using Penumbra and using Penumbra. So I should be able to have my kind of interchain private home where I can see all of my assets regardless of whether they're shielded or whether they're public. And then go out and either bring things into the shielded pool, transact privately, or send funds from Penumbra privately out to whatever other chain I want to interact with. So I'm very excited about this. The interface, Radiant is hosting it at dex.penumbra.zone. And then there's also a version of the front end at app.penumbra.zone. So excited to have kind of further improvements in usability, and yeah, very excited.
Yeah, we're going to share more like posted information about these two interfaces and how it is that they fold into the Penumbra experience that has been done in partnership with Penumbra Labs. So we're very excited to like be able to talk about that more. The part I wanted to emphasize again is like, please offer feedback. So I am excited to see and hear what it is that people have to say about their interaction with these interfaces at both app.penumbra.zone and dex.penumbra.zone. Because the hope is that your community are your users. So the people who are both on this call and in this Discord can offer the most useful feedback on how and why they are using the software, and as well as like how to further develop it. So for my part, at least from the Radiant Commons side, I'm very excited to see what that feedback will bring up and how to further iterate on what Veil can offer, in addition to trying to help and make sure that it's resilient and works well. So that's part of the feedback that we're looking for, that we're trying to gather and have as a community, is like making sure that what you interact with is something that works well. So whether you are in the beta program or just someone who is interacting with the interface, any of the interfaces, you can offer feedback in the form of either support requests or directly, if you are part of the beta program, in the beta program itself. And hopefully these would be filtered up into both fixes and improvements to the software itself. So it's very exciting to get to this step. I think after a little bit of feedback and refinement, we can go to another step of like trying to get a wider and wider audience to start using this software once it's been tested for resilience. Cool. I don't have a tremendous amount of other things to bring up. Amber, I don't know if you had other content that you wanted to cover in an agenda here. I'm excited to have this move on in terms of its testing and interaction with people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Nope, we wanted to talk about grants and anything else on the Radiant side, and then hand it over to Penumbra Labs if they had any other updates they wanted to share with the community.
If none, that's
Okay, if the answer is
actually
none,
also okay, right? Cool. I guess we can cut it there, and we'll revert for the next community call.
perfect. All right, if anyone has any questions about grants, let me know. I'm here. I'm in the Discord all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, can't wait to see the applications. Thanks for showing up, you guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.